Hello, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Yourself?
Well, more or less.
More or less. Hopefully more.
Yeah.
So we'll see today another interesting battles.
Well, of course, yes,
Yeah.
of course.
So I see the first one is against Bielicki Carlos. Did I say it
Yeah,
correct?
he was a former junior world champion a little bit before me. And we played this very interesting game during the a very strong international tournament in Mar del Plata in 65.
65 in Spain, Mar del
In,
Plata.
no, in Argentina. In Argentina.
Ah, Mar del Plata is
Yes,
Argentina.
Argentina.
Yeah.
And we had there also another former junior world champion, Grandmaster Pano. I mean, we met there and later on in many other tournaments, and this was a very good occasion to be together with them.
Carlos, when he became our
Now, a
junior world
little bit
champion,
before, a few years before me. I mean, he was older.
he was older.
But it was very interesting because during our game, he was the former junior world champion, and I was the current.
The current one.
Yeah, in that time I was still the junior world champion in
Okay.
65 years.
All right.
So I
you played with white?
Yes, I played with white. I played e4, and after e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5.
He moved
a5
a5?
is a little bit surprising because usually black plays a6 or knight f6. These are more or less the normal moves, But f5 is very interesting. It's very sharp continuation for black.
Yes.
So after f5, knight c3 is the best move, and now knight d4 is another small surprise. Usually black plays here. In this position, f takes e4, knight takes e4, d5. Knight takes e5, white is giving a piece for very strong initiative. And, I showed just a few moves just to show what happens here. So after f takes e4, knight takes e4, d5, d5, knight takes e5.
Okay.
Takes in e4, and knight takes c6, and now there are two interesting moves, queen g5 or queen d5. Very sharp games in both cases, very interesting. And a lot of analysis and so on, starting from here. And after queen d5, c4, and so on, This everything is theory, here.
Yeah.
Okay, coming back to our game. So after knight d4, here white took in f5. This is a normal move. And after c6, here after the game, I analyzed a little bit. During the game, I saw that the best move here is bishop e2 is the best move. And after bishop e2, white is clearly better. Now black is losing a pawn, or there are some very unpleasant continuations for black. For instance, if he takes in e5, in f5, he loses immediately the pawn in e5. If he takes in f3 or in e2, is a pawn down for nothing. So instead, knight takes f5. He could play also d6. So bishop e2, c6, c6 like in our game, c6 here, c6, yes. And now after bishop e2, instead of knight takes d4, bishop e2, let's say d6. After d6, knight takes d4, takes in d4, and bishop h5 check. And this is very unpleasant for black. It's probably almost lost this position. If it is possible to give check, it's terrible for black. Yeah. So I couldn't resist because I was also very young, and I played another move. Which
you were maybe more aggressive.
Yeah. So I took in f5. He played knight d4, and here after c6 you can sacrifice a piece. I played this, and this is very sharp game. It seems that black is almost lost. I mean, it's very unpleasant position for black for one piece, a piece for 2 pawns later on. But it's a little bit unclear. We'll see. So I took in d4. He took in d4. Now queen h5 check. Queen h5, and now king e7, the only move. But it's very unusual.
Yes.
Immediately after the opening. But now you lose a piece with white. I mean, you have to sacrifice a piece.
Yeah.
So the best move is castle, of course, and you continue to try to attack immediately, very quickly. So he took the piece in c3. I took back. Now, if he takes the second piece, he's probably lost in a few moves. The
White.
attack is terrible. Black.
Black.
After rook e1 check is a fantastic attack. So he doesn't have time to take the second piece.
Yeah.
But d6 is all right. D6 is a very good move, and he tries to escape with the king somehow, and show you that a piece is still a piece. Even for 2 pawns, but he can defend. Yeah. So after d6, we are threatening mate already in f7. So now he has to play some things. He plays the best move d5 for the only move now. And from now on, we try to demonstrate that we have a very strong attack, despite the piece from black. You look at the position, all the black pieces are still there, the initial positions. And white has a very strong initiative. But if you can demonstrate that it's a very strong initiative and that wins, that's another question, So, okay, rook e1 check, king d7, everything is almost forced here. So I played queen f7 check, knight e7, and bishop g5. Well, everything is very nice. It seems that white is winning by force. And yeah, of course, if he takes in c4, it's immediately lost. After rook d1 check, you can resign immediately. So from now on, black plays the only moves, but the only moves are still okay. I mean, more or less, he can escape for the moment. For the moment. Queen e8 check, the only move. Bishop, king d8. Now again, queen d6 check, queen d7. Look, he moves here and there, but
he tries to exchange the queens.
Yeah, he tries to exchange the queens. So finally, I played queen e5, and he found again the best move, queen c7. Now, what happens after queen c7? You can take back your piece in e7 later on, but you lose the bishop from c4. So if you exchange too many pieces, black has a piece up, and finally he escapes somehow, And if you don't win in a few moves very quickly, then black, can demonstrate that his idea was still all right, So we have to accept to play later on our game, but without queens. You have to exchange queens, and that is more difficult to try to win without queens, of course. So finally he took in e5. I took with the rook, h6, bishop h4. Again, the only move, king d7, because if he played bishop d7 or king e8, he lost immediately, he would lose immediately the piece. After rook a e1, you take back your piece and you win. So now king d7 is the only move again.
He wanted to get out of the pin from here.
Yes, he has to, of course, yes. So from now on, rook a1, of course, and now knight g8. I mean, he comes back with the knight in g8, but you didn't, take back your piece. That is the problem. Now
you still have 4 pieces on the same, on the original spot.
Yes, on the original spot, and the king moved here and there, but, he didn't get mated anyway, that is the problem. So what to do now? You have to try to open the position, from here. So c4 is the best move, of course. He takes, I took, and now, again, finally, b5. This is very provocative move, but not so bad, because now he tries to go to b7 with the king, to go away somehow, So bishop f7, again, you try, to show your opponent that your pieces are ideally posted, and he has no counterplay at all. That is very clear. But if this is enough or not, again, this is another question, So what to do? So finally, knight f6. He moves knight f6 is the normal move. Of course, he has to go out with one piece. Now, bishop g3, you have the same threats. The king is there in a very dangerous situation in d7. The position lacks of coordination of all the black pieces are still there, the initial positions, and he has still many problems, So he moves bishop b7. Now he tries to come with the knight in d5 and somehow to get rid of this very unusual position by moving later on, if possible, the bishop in d6. If he has time to do this, he's more or less all right for black, but he has no time. You have to do it very quickly. So a4. Now again, if black took in a4 is lost immediately, because you
Why?
give a check in d1, and after knight d5 you have time to move c4, and that wins.
So you give a check on
in
d1.
d1, and after knight d5, if he took in c4 in a4, you have time to play c4, and that wins.
Understood. Okay.
So
you
now
remove the
after
defender.
a6, you have to try to get to this move c4 later on,
Yeah.
but in a very good order. Now it's very important how. So bishop e6 check is okay. King d8. Now check there, and knight d5. And now again, the last moment when you have to pay attention with white. You have to move in a very precise order. The best move here is to play c3, and after c3, b3 and c4. Because even here, if you play immediately b3, after b4, you don't have time to play c4. And black is more or less in a safe situation. b3 is still a mistake. So c3, you have to play c3. Yeah. So now, if the game is more or less normal, black is lost in all positions. So now you have time to play b3, and you come to c4, and you take back your piece somehow in d5, and it's enough. That wins. Even if you give the exchange, I mean, he could play, instead of bishop b7, he could play bishop d6, but there you give an exchange, you take in d5 after bishop d6. You take with the rook in d5, and later on you take back in d6. You have exchange down, but the position is terrible for black. He's lost in all positions. He has no moves at all. The king in d8 is very bad, and the rook from a8 and from h8, they don't have any good moves. So now here he played bishop f6, the last hope. And now after rook e3, black is losing in every position. He is no defense against c4, so he took in a4. But now, again, is no defense against c4. He took in c3, there's desperation now. I took in c3, and now the last mistake, but anyway, the position completely lost, He played rook c8, I took in c8, and he resigned, because he loses another piece now.
Yes, he resigned here.
Yeah, he resigned. Well, the game was very interesting and very sharp, of course.
Yeah.
But after the game, I analyzed, I saw it was correct. I played very well, and I won, a good game. But if I should play another game like this, I should go back with the bishop simply to e2 and probably win in a few moves later on. Not so complicated like in our games.
Yeah.
Well, I complicate the game, myself. I was guilty, let's say. And anyway, the game was very good. The game was very interesting.
True.
And very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You are.